welcome back to Holiday Card Series Day 4. Today we're going to be using this beautiful pine cone die from Avery, Elle. And I have a piece of cardstock here. The top part of it's cut a little bit shorter than the bottom piece. And I'm going to lay my die onto the front part of my card. Now my card's already folded in half, but I'm just going to cut through the top part of my card. Now I'm going to go ahead and run this through my die cut machine and I'll be right back. Now what's so interesting about this die, once I pull this off, you're going to see it does not die cut all the way through. It just does a really pretty inlay into the top of the card panel, and it really only die cuts all the way through on the bow part. So the bow part will actually lift up off the paper, but you get this great detail on the pine cones and the little sprigs. So next I'm going to grab a chalk marker, and I just dab some of it off into like a little puddle onto a piece of scratch paper, and I'm bringing in some cute little dots to mimic little pieces of snow, little flakes of snow. And this card is going to be super easy to recreate, you guys. I'm just going to pop those down, and once I have those where I want them, I'm now going to come in with some chalk. Now I have not used chalk in forever, so I was so glad to go back and use something that I haven't used on a Christmas card in quite some time. So now to add some definition and some color to the card, I'm going to come in and color some of those pieces that were just inlaid into the card to give my card a little bit of color. So I'm going to color in my pine cones with one of the shades of brown. And then for my greenery pieces, I'm going to use one of the green shades of chalk. Now you can do this with chalk. You can even do this if you wanted to lightly paint it. My suggestion, if you're going to use paint, to make sure not to be too heavy-handed with it, because you definitely do not want to buckle your cardstock. Now for my bow, I'm going to use a little bit of the red chalk. Now I was a tad bit heavy-handed with the red, so I'm going to come back in with a chalk eraser and just remove some of the red in the bow area, just so it does not overpower it. And I'm going to come back in on my right side and a little bit on the left side of the bow, and then my bow is going to be done. I really think this is such a cool die that I can get that little bit of dimension by having that bow pop off the top of the card. I think it's such a fantastic look to a card and really, really simple to do. Now I want to add a sentiment. So I picked up a matching stamp set, also from Avery, Elle, and I'm just going to use the sentiment from that stamp set. So right across the bottom, I'm going to line up that Season's Greetings sentiment, and I'm going to use some Versamark for this and stamp my greeting down. Now this card obviously is not going to be able to stand on its own, but that's okay, because my mom, this card is going to my mom, and she usually hangs her cards up during the holiday season, so I know that this one necessarily does not need to stand. So I'm going to sprinkle on some white embossing powder, and that looks fantastic. And that white just pulls down some of the white from the top of the card onto just across the bottom. So I'm going to grab my heat gun and set this embossing powder, and I make sure to heat from the front and the back, just so I can get my cardstock rather to lay kind of flat and not buckle too much. All right, so now once that is done, I do want to use one more element on this card. I'm going to grab some washi tape, and I love, love, love this gingham red washi tape, especially for the holidays. So right across the bottom of my pine cones, I'm just going to lay this down just so I have a tad bit of this gingham look across the bottom of my card. Now I'm going to fold my card over, and I'm going to pull that washi tape just around to the back side of that. And this is a really nice way to add a cute little border to your cards. And now all I need to do is to grab my scissors and just trim off any of the excess that I have on the ends. Now I'm going to just bring my bone folder and crease that top very well, and then my card is done. How cute is that card, and super easy to make. So that is card number 4, you guys. I will see you guys in the next video. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.